Morning. How are you today? I am really excited to be here. There's a very exciting time happening for everybody right now. We've had a few people take their next step after their 5 days of healing with us, and I wanted to just come on and answer some of the questions that were being sent to us. And I do have notes, so if you see me looking, that's what I'm looking at. And so by now, you know that there is more to life than living in frustration, overwhelm, guilt, anger. And hopefully over these last few days, you have put some action into your days, some intentionality, so that you are living a happier life. And so let me just pull up some of the questions that were asked throughout the series. And if you have a question here, you could drop it below and I'll be happy to answer it. But one of the questions that came in was, what can I do to stay balanced and healthy on the days when my depression wants to take over? Let me come back here so I can see. Drop below a hello. That's interesting. I want to see if it's going out on the computer. So here's the thing that I want to share. In any feeling, in any emotion, our job is to master our energy. It is to master the way we feel, the way we show up. It's not to get rid of feelings. It's to recognize them and realize that we have choice over our feelings. So how do you live a balanced life when you want depression to come over? Once, I want you to realize that you have choice to allow it to come over or not. And either way, it's okay. Just know that it's a choice. Second is there's 3 areas in your life to master. And the first area is your body, your physiology. What can you do to make yourself feel better physically? Is it eat better, get more sleep? Is it, learn to sit with your shoulders back instead of hunched over? Depressed people look this way. Excited and open people look this way, right? Is it, when depression comes in, what can you do with your physical body to shift out of the state that you're currently in? Get up and take a walk, have a drink of water, do an exercise class, do something to shift your physiology. That's one. The next is focus. Pay attention to what you're focused on. Are you focused on things that are all wrong, that are not going in the right direction, that you feel is happening to you? Or are you focused on what you're grateful for? What are the possibilities? What other outcomes can happen? What can you do differently to create a different lifestyle, to create a different feeling? So shifting your focus. And the last area is communication. What's the story? We worked a lot of this week about story. What's the story behind all the depression, right? And so those are the 3 areas. And in Fear to Freedom, we dive in. We take 8 weeks to reprogram your thoughts, your physiology, everything in your life is a pattern. The way you show up, the way you hold yourself, your thoughts, your what you focus on, it's all a pattern. And over the 8 weeks in Fear to Freedom, we dive into shifting every single pattern in your life so that you can have rapid transformation. So let's see, there's another question. How do I stop the negative thinking before, so this person is asking, how does she stop the negative thinking? She's thinking of all the negative outcomes before the situation even happens. And here's what I'm going to say. If you're going to play the what if game, play the what if game in the positive direction. What if this turns out to be the best situation in my life? What if this is the next step I need to take? What if the person says yes? What if, our mind always does the what if. So my suggestion is turn the what ifs into the positive what ifs, because anything is possible. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So imagine the best. If you're already aware that you are thinking negative thoughts before, stop it and ask. And that's another key point that we go over in Fear to Freedom. It's identifying the patterns. What can you do to shift your patterns? And how can you take the awarenesses to the next step? I had, how do I get out of fear of what's going to happen in the future that now that I'm 65? So I kind of just answered that same question. And the next one is, how can I be comfortable with my decisions and stop contemplating and worrying about what others think? So that to me is two questions in one. The one is, first, make decisions from being grounded and present. When you make decisions from being grounded and present, you're making decisions from your heart space. If you're making decisions from up here, what you think you should do, what other things you should do, that's from your ego, your mind. And that is not necessarily decisions that are going to lead you in the path that you really want to go in. So learning to make decisions here, getting grounded, getting present in the moment is key. And then from the next part of your question was not caring what other thinks. That to me, what I'm picking up from that question, and I don't know if I'm reading it right. However, what I pick up from that question is self-forgiveness. Because if you're worried about what other people think, that means you're really judging yourself. And so you need to forgive yourself. So working on forgiveness is really key. There's the Ho'oponopono prayer that I honestly, I don't know if I shared it in this healing series, but Google it. It's a great prayer to help with forgiveness. And you know, forgiveness is a process that goes on and on and on. It's a never-ending process. It's just the key to a continuous expansion in your life. And we really address all of that in the Fear to Freedom program. There's 2 weeks, I believe, dedicated to forgiveness work. How do I really stop worrying is another question. This all comes down to the first day here is the key to the power of tuning in. Tune in, get present. When you're present, you can't worry about the future. So if you're thinking of the future or thinking of the past, you're not in the present moment. Gratitude is one of the number one ways to stay present. And that's the simplest way to stop worrying is learn to get into the present moment. And then there's most likely underlying beliefs, underlying fears, underlying energy that's stuck in your body that's creating the worry. And, you know, that needs to be addressed in a longer conversation. Let's see. How do I work on balancing the daily responsibilities without letting me feel exhausted, depleted? You know, that's a really good question. You know, like, many of the clients that I work with it's like they always have 1,000 things going on. And I mean, I'm a mom of 3. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I have 3 boys that are active, and I get it. There's a lot to happen in the world, and things that appear to need to get done, right? So there's many facets to this answer, but the easiest answer, or I want to say the easiest way to explain this, or the easiest solution, is first take care of you and then what the responsibilities are. But most likely there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of beliefs that things have to happen in a certain way, or things have to look a certain way or be a certain way, or any of that. And that is most likely what's causing you to feel depleted, not necessarily the work itself. But most people feel depleted because they give too much to others and not enough to themselves. So really learning to tune in to you is key. And, you know, sharing all of this, I just want to also share a few comments around Fear to Freedom, because Fear to Freedom is an 8-week transformational program that I take groups of women through so that they can begin to release their worries, to not have the negative thinking, to live balanced and energized and fulfilled without going into depression and stress and overwhelm and frustration. And it's a proven step-by-step program where we take you week by week to uncover and release the blocks, the emotions, the stories, the patterns that are keeping you locked in where you're at right now. So I just wanted to address a couple questions that normally come up, and one also often comes up is, will this work for me? You know, I've tried so many other things. Will this work for me? And I can tell you, when you commit to something and you are full in, the universe supports you. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that have shifted their life, their life through this program, that now live a different life. It works when you work the system and you commit. I'm committed to getting the outcome that you desire, as long as you're committed to that outcome. The next question is, and many of my clients have tried, therapy, psychotherapy, energy healing, self-help books, counselors, you name it. They've tried it and have received. I've had one woman share that she received more in the 8 weeks of working with me than she did in, 40, 50 years of therapy. So maybe 40 years of therapy, if I'm doing the math right. Oh, maybe 50. So the system works. It's proven over and over to work. And here, you showing up, you being present, you being committed to wanting it is what makes the difference. The second question I get often asked a lot, it's like, I don't know if I can handle doing something in a group. And here's the most fascinating thing about Fear to Freedom. It's not a therapy session. We're doing transformational work, and this community is so supportive and inspiring and empowering. And we're not living and retelling the stories of our past. The work that I do, I don't need to know all of that. That's for you and you only. And we come together and we do the work together. So if the group work is shying you apart, know that it is empowering, supportive, non-judgmental, and one of the best ways to heal in areas that you didn't even know you need healing because other group members bring it up. Those are really the two big challenges that I have when it comes to Fear to Freedom. And if you have any other questions around it, I'd be so happy to help you. Know that this is a really exciting time. This is the Fear to Freedom doesn't launch often. And this is a great opportunity. If you are looking to make change in your life, enrollment is happening, or we can have an awareness call to see how and if I can help you. And this opportunity is limited to the first 5 people. I'm going to do 5 people. The first 5 people that say yes to you and want to learn more about how you can help yourself. So by now, there's things that you can do to shift your life. And so know that it's your time now. And I'd be happy, just go to callwithbrenda.com and book your awareness call there. Bye now.